Hey, welcome everyone. This is Tracy Thomas and Greg Moody. We're here with Rev Talks, and we're going to be going over a couple topics today about influencers and content creators and what the difference is. And I'll do a little screen sharing here a little bit with everybody, and we'll see if everybody's enjoying uh, what we have, the content we have today. So let me go
Yeah, I
ahead and
think this
screen
is,
share.
yeah, Tracy, I think this is really important for everybody to understand. I think everybody's hearing the idea of having content on the internet. Bill Gates coined the term content is king, and what that means versus being an influencer on the internet. And I think there's a lot of noise out there, as there is always with when it comes to internet and online marketing and what's going on, and so much information that it's hard for business owners and people that are trying to get their customers to listen to them, and potential customers to listen to them, to know what to do that's right. And that's, I think, what we do a really nice job of. And I've always admired what you do in terms of getting the message out in a clear way so people know exactly what they should be doing and spending their effort, time, and money on to get things to do the right thing. And being an influencer is really important in a business, but understanding how content creation fits with that is critical.
Yeah, valuable points there for sure. Yeah, and I think Greg, some of the topics we always talk, is people they want to create the content in their mind. They want to create the content, whether it's writing a blog, but then they're not a writer, or whether it's taking some photos. They might be good at photos, but sometimes it's just hard to get to that creating the content, or to map out what that content is. We have a blueprint that we offer everyone that's also free. You guys are welcome to somewhere in throughout this podcast. You'll see some different links here. You guys can go ahead and schedule a time to meet with us, and we can talk to you guys about that. But basically, an influence. What really is an influencer? Is someone that's known. They know their connection is so valuable to their audience, and you can use them as an influencer to help your business grow. So a lot of business owners, like Greg, you and I mean, we've been influencers we've been influencers for many, many, many years, back when we were personally running our martial arts school within our community. If we asked for something to be done, whether it was a public school, private school, wherever it was, people wanted us to be around because we were an influencer, because we drew traffic to their venue. And I think that right now, for whether it's a martial arts school, whether it's a doctor, a law office, whatever it is, you guys can become an influencer. There's a couple ways we'll talk about that a little bit. We kind of want to make sure everybody understands what the difference is. And the content creator, and every influencer is not a content creator. Greg and I both been creating content. I don't know how many years, Greg. It's been years and years. We've been creating content forever. I don't care if it's emails. I don't care if it's blogs. We've just been creating content left and right.
Well, I think even pre-internet becoming big, we've been in business before that, and we were creating content, writing books, creating handouts, and not just flyers and advertisements, but also information that schools would find valuable, information that parents would find value, information that our potential prospects would find valuable, information that other businesses that we worked at back then, if it was a chiropractor, doctor, lawyer, or some other business, that those companies would find valuable, or that their prospects would find valuable. So it's not just, this isn't really, in a way, a new phenomena that you need to provide valuable information for your prospects. That's one reason they would pay attention to you. But then also, being an influencer means that you are somebody that has some authority, that is an expert in your field, so that then people will listen to you about what they want, if it's maybe your product, but also maybe what they want in other areas that are things around your product. I heard somebody talking about. My son is in a college, and he was talking about his professor talking about the guy who was the best battery salesman in the world. Well, he was so good that people started coming to him to learn about batteries. I didn't mention this to you before, Tracy, but this guy was the best battery salesman for commercial batteries. But people would come to talk to him about other different types of products around their manufacturing plant. He didn't sell anything about those types of things, but he was so good at he had such a good influencer about that particular product that he was in a niche for, that people that were also going to buy his product would talk to him about other things. So he became an influencer, and this had nothing to do with the internet. So this is not really a new thing. It's a really fundamental thing, creating content, and that is related to becoming an influencer and becoming an expert.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like I said, it's been around forever. I think
Well,
that
and,
the
and
main difference
if I
is
could,
what.
sorry,
Oh, go
Tracy,
ahead.
if I could add
Go
one thing,
ahead.
I'm sorry, it was in my head and I didn't
Yeah.
want to forget it. Where I think people, when they hear this kind of stuff about creating content, and you said, well, people don't, we tell people to do this kind of stuff, and they say, well, I'm not an artist, or I'm not a writer, or I'm not uh, good at making
Right.
videos, or I
Right.
don't feel confident about making videos, or I don't. We hear that all the time, and we can help you with all that. But what we then have people do, or I hear this story about, well, yeah, but I'm spending money on Facebook, or I'm spending money on other types of marketing, is spending money on things. Well, when you spend money on all that stuff, but you haven't done this fundamental stuff right, creating content and becoming an influencer, then you're spending a lot more money than you need to. If you stop spending that money, all of your marketing goes away, all the work that you've done to build your business goes away. It's I think you said it. It's like putting your marketing on steroids. You're putting all kinds of money into spending money to get traffic, rather than actually fundamentally being the authority and being the one that has a lot of information out on the internet. So it's not that tons of our clients. We help a lot of our clients do all kinds of online marketing in all kinds of areas, including Facebook and AdWords and all kinds of different areas. We definitely support doing that, but we want to make sure that you're fundamentally have the good fundamentals that you should have in terms of creating content and being an influencer first. That usually should come before spending a lot of other money on other things.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because it's so much. It's the world of the internet is just moving so quick. All these different things going on. People have you guys, anybody listening right now, we know you guys have a problem keeping up with it. We have a problem keeping up with it. It's just crazy. But think of this. What Greg was talking about, it's like it just snowed here recently. They say it won't snow up here in Amherst, and it's just snowed and you get stuck. It's like crazy. But I want to use this as an example. Okay, so if I was to walk down the property, down the mountain, okay, and I needed everybody to follow me, those tracks, okay, are going to be a key indicator as where I went, and you'd be able to easily follow me. The snow is untouched by anything. You'll be able to follow the tracks. When you're doing a lot of the pay-per-click, it's not that pay-per-click is bad. It's just at what timing. Your timing is so important in creating some blueprint or map, a marketing map. But make a long story short, you got to be able to track that person down. Well, somebody's got to be able to track you down, and after you've done pay-per-click, you don't have that. So people, they said in 2022, this is a multi-billion-dollar. This is going into multi-billion-dollar marketing. Everybody's spending to become an influencer right now because they need to stand out. And what's different, what Greg was talking about back, pre-internet, when the people were using the yellow pages and, flyers and TV and radio, what's different now is social media. Whether you like Facebook, whether you like TikTok, whether you like Instagram, the social media platforms have changed what an influencer is. I mean, absolutely changed it. If you watch, anybody out here who's listening right now, I mean, I watch TikTok. I mean, all the time, right? So if you watch TikTok, it's like you get hooked on it. I mean, every movie star is on it. I mean, you probably can't tell me a movie star that's not on TikTok. All the musicians are on it. Any singer, they're all on it, and they have lots of followers, which we're going to get to in a second. So this next screen is going to talk about this because this is really important. Everybody here that's listening in right now, for the most part, you're a business owner. So the celebrities are like mega influencers, which you'll see typically is more than 1 million followers. This is not. I put the source down there where this is from in there, but I want everybody to understand this isn't even from them. This is just the reality of what is. Anybody that's in marketing knows what this is. You have mega influencers, which are more than 1 million. Typically, those are celebrity people. You hire them. They have a large volume. They're also the ones that can make a shift. Like right now, you have somebody, you guys know Neil Young, the singer right now that's all over the news right now that's leaving Spotify, right? Because it's like, get rid of Rogan or I'm leaving. Okay. Well, guess what? How many followers they have? Now everybody else is going to follow suit. So they can change things, but they really can't directly impact a lot of business owners or a lot of your type of clientele. What they can do is you tend to see a shift occur. They're the ones that kind of guide people politically and everything else. And then you got the macro influencers, which are basically 500,000 to 1 million. You have the mid-tier influencers, and I'm going to skip through these because most of you business owners, you're like Greg and I, you're in the nano influencers. You might have more than 10,000 followers. I posted some pictures the other day, posted some pictures of me doing something the other day. and a new location we're at, and within 35 minutes we had 3,500 likes. Okay, and out of that there was 1,200 shares. It works. Okay, so it really does. If you're on Facebook and you have 5,000 friends, you've maxed it out. People say, well, what am I going to do with 5,000? You really need a 500,000 to make any money. No, you don't need that. You need to be in that nano influencer, which is between 1,000 and 10,000 followers. And science has proven it over and over. Okay, compared to any type of influencers, nano influencers have less reach, but they have greater influence, and greater influence also means a greater return on your investment. It's a fact. Okay, for small businesses.
Yeah, because usually they have more specific reach. It's like a needle instead of like a hammer.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whereas come on, we all watch, if you're into the NFL, if you're going to be watching the Super Bowl, who do they have as influencers that's coming there to make sure you come and watch the halftime? I mean, who they have coming to it. So they have influencers. Everybody there has big influencers. They're trying to draw a big crowd. What are they trying to do? They're trying to grab a bigger audience, a bigger reach to watch the game. Now, are they really trying to make more money right there? Not necessarily. They're trying to service the people for their commercials, their ads, their ads. They need to make sure their ads, these people, their sponsors come back and spend, $20 million on a 30-second, whatever, Greg, these are astronomical fees, right? Well, as a nano influencer, you tend to be a community leader. And in your community, we preach this all the time to our current clientele, whether it's your website, whether you become an author, which is really, maybe you've only written a white paper and you have a free download on your website, you just became something really big in your industry, but maybe not even so much in your industry as far as a national scale, but on a local scale. Maybe you're a chiropractor and all you service really are kids and pregnant women, because it's a niche. Okay, what are you doing with that? Are you actually the expert? Are you seen as the expert when they land on your website?
Well, and the expert in your geographic area, if that's what you're servicing, and the chiropractor is a good example because you can't really do chiropractic through Zoom or through a video conference. So your main reach would be geographically. If you're doing some other products, like some people do telemedicine, certain types of medicine you can do all across your state or all across a certain geography, then you'd have a bigger reach. And then that type of medicine you could do, you would want to be an influencer further out geographically. So the way that your influence would reach should be different. So you have to decide what your business objectives are and see where your influence can expand and how you would market and how much content you'd create to be an influencer in those different areas.
Yeah, and what type of influencer? What are you? And that's the hard part for the average business owner. But after you meet with us, one or two meetings, they're absolutely free. It's kind of a discovery. Once you meet with us, we kind of give you an idea of what type of influencer you need to be. And let me use an example of this. If you go to TikTok, if you go to Instagram, if you go to Facebook videos, any of the videos you see on Facebook, try finding just type in chiropractor, and look at the videos coming up. You're seeing guys with big mallets, wooden mallets, and this big wooden thing. I was like, I've been going to get adjustments forever, and they're hammering these people on their back, and you hear the people go, "Ow!" But these people are, if you watch them, you can see it's real. Okay, and literally, it's called a reel, by the way, REEL. It's called a reel when they do these short videos. So as an influencer, you create these reels, and what it is you have more people. So these people are growing their business like 1,000 times by percentage-wise. It's just unbelievable. You have people now all demonstrating how they do chiropractic care, and they're all unique. Where Greg, have you ever been to a chiropractor before?
Yeah, of course.
They adjust you. Have you laid on the table where they adjust your neck? If they just crack your neck, right? They just adjust your neck, they adjust your back. You're on a table. Well, now the new thing is, and I've been going to chiropractic for years, and I've been to a lot of chiropractors. And now this thing is where they're standing up on a chair, they're getting up there. It's usually a young, good-looking guy or a young, good-looking girl that's a chiropractor. They're the only ones doing it. Okay, the guy's weighing 270 pounds, 300-pound chiropractor is not getting up there on that chair. And they're lifting you up off the ground and doing all these unique things. But I'm telling you right now, look at the number of followers. They're typically under the 10,000. Some have million, by the way. Okay, some are really high up there. But if you look at it, then go a step farther, guess what they're doing? Greg, it's funny to watch because you're seeing all these. It used to be a year ago, it was different. 2 years ago, I should say, it's different. This last year, 2021, what I saw is all these chiropractors doing this online, especially on TikTok. Every one of their patients are perfectly fit. and they're barely wearing anything at all. And so what are they doing? And almost all of them have a female on the table. So they're using certain type of body styles and basically just to attract people to watch their video over and over and over to get the addiction. And then you reach out to them. Yeah.
To be clear, we're not promoting sexism or any kind of thing like that.
No.
What we're telling you is that people are using marketing tools to become influencers. We're not judging
social media specifically. Social media specifically. And everybody's, so where you thought, chiropractic, the humble person, and now I see it's like, whoa, what am I looking at? But it's changing in so many different drastic. Now that's the extreme. That doesn't mean you have to be that way. You can be, but you can still use the influencer. You can create reels, videos. Everybody here, Greg and I, you guys all know, we talk about all the time. We're martial artists going back from way back, right in the 80s. So we've all owned multiple schools, and and it's just interesting because the changes we've seen. But the one thing we can tell you right now is a martial artist can get on a camera and talk. They teach all the time in front of hundreds of people, thousands of people. They teach, but we don't see them creating reels. We don't see them talking, on video on Facebook or social media or Instagram or TikTok, all these different platforms you have. And of course, that platform, Greg, you and I talk about this all the time. What platform you go to is based on your type of audience. And it's not demographics, where people keep using the term demographics, which, who remembers the yellow pages when we talked about demographics? See, then demographics is one piece of the puzzle now. It's not the main piece of the puzzle. Now you have to look at how your audience shops, how they buy. And that gets into the personas and how people act and everything else. There's so much involved in it, Greg. It fascinates me, because as we're growing, we can actually take our finger and say, I want that type of client, much more than we ever could in the history of marketing before.
Well, yeah, and that's what we want to help you with. So, when you set up a time with us, you go to revmarketing.com and set up a time. We can help you narrow that down so that you can focus all your efforts on doing the right things. And we're going to talk about the content creation part of this so that it can help you become an influencer. And what's great about this is to become like that nano influencer, to become that needle where you can really target exactly the type of client, as Tracy says, that you want. It's pretty straightforward. It's not that I don't want to say it's easy, because you do have to do some work, put in some time, effort, or money into creating that situation where you're an influencer, but it's pretty straightforward how to make that happen. And when you do make that happen, then all the rest of your marketing works better. All the rest of your referrals work better. All the rest of everything that you're going to do in your business works better, including people coming back to you for repeat business and all the other things that you want to do. So it's really the place you need to start, not the place you end up with after your business is mature. I think that's where people get this mixed up. You're not an influencer in the end when your business is huge and growing and spectacular. You're not going to get your business growing huge and built, spectacular, unless you work on becoming an influencer right now.
Yeah, Greg, and it's like when we talk to some business owners, we're talking to some business owners, not a lot of them, but we talk to some that they tell us they're moving into this new building, and then they say they're doing the electrical work, they're doing the plumbing work, they're doing the building, and we say, well, I know your hours of operation for your normal business is during the day. What do you do during the day? Oh, we had to close for a week, or we had to do this or that. I think what it is people are so confused, and they're torn in different directions because they feel like they have to wear the hat of everything. They have to do the construction, they have to do the marketing, they have to do, whatever their business is, whatever their product and service line is. But the problem really is this, that if you're good at doing content, let's say you're a writer, you're really good at writing articles, that's fine. That's one channel. Let's get the rest of them in gear. What does it take to really take your business off in your area? Maybe you're saying, hey, I'm happy, my business runs really smooth right now. I want to become an influencer because I want to get into consulting, or I want to do more of this. Well, what does that look like? How's your website marketing doing? What can you do to improve? What can you do? Do you have some type of marketing map? Greg talked earlier about, when it comes to websites and marketing, it's really all about a website is one aspect. Okay. A marketing is another aspect of it, but it's all it's just different puzzle pieces. In order to build that puzzle, you really have to have everything there, and all together. So, when it comes down to it right now, we like to see everybody that's in the business right now that we're working with, our clientele and the people that are on this podcast, to go ahead and really research, do some more research on it. Schedule a time with us though, sometime throughout this podcast. Schedule a time, and let's meet and talk about, are you the type of person that can do content creation, or are you more of just the influencer type and you're going to hire out to do the content creation? How is that going to take place? Maybe you have a team member, a staff member, a partner, a wife, a husband. The problem is when you start getting into somebody else doing stuff, we hear people say, well, I got a brother that can build a website. Well, is it a marketing platform? I got somebody that's got a PhD. Like Dr. Moody here, Greg Moody has a PhD, and he writes extremely well. But there are people that have PhDs. They might write well for educational purposes, but they don't write well for marketing. And there is a difference. And so keep that in mind and stay focused, and really look at what the value is of becoming an influencer and how to really amplify yourself as a niche in the world of white noise that you and I were talking about earlier, Greg, because that's really what it is right now. Everybody's email marketing, everybody's paid per click. I mean, it's time to do something different, right?
Yeah, I think what happens is I've talked to a lot of people, and I say, well, so how did you decide to do what you're doing? Your marketing. They say, well, I talked to other people in my business, and I'm doing what they're doing, and that's like the worst possible solution. You've got to do a lot. You got to be different. You've got to amplify yourself above what everybody else is doing. Not just, if your buddy's in another town and he seems to be doing well, that still isn't really a good answer. You've got to do a lot more usually than what anybody in your area is doing, a lot more than what is typical. That's what marketing is. It's got to be, and that's what being an influencer is. You've got to be an authority, which means more than what the rest of the community in the area is. And further, like you use the example of a chiropractor or a martial artist, but even for a medical doctor, we do work with some people that are investment advisors in all kinds of different niches. But for whatever niche you're in, let's say it was being an MD, and you're a primary care physician, let's say, well, there's lots of primary care physicians. So you need to somehow show, when we say influencer, you've got to come across as the best possible one, better than the other guys. That's how that's what an influencer and authority means. It doesn't mean you talk negatively. You don't do that by talking negatively about other people, but you show you're better, you have more authority than other people. And how do you do that? Well, two ways. One is expertise. The other way is more stuff on the internet, which is what content is.
Yeah. And well, hopefully everybody's enjoying it right now. And Greg, I really passionate about this because what we've seen happen in 2020 and 2021 with more and more influencers just becoming, the reality of it is their business is just taking off and growing. And like right now, I don't care if it's Joe Rogan, I don't care who it is. There's somebody's in the news all the time on their podcast and that they're an influencer. It's just become, and everybody's following somebody. Who are you, like Greg, right now, you and I, we have tons of people we follow on the podcast. We have some people say, well, are they your mentors? It's just great information out there. I don't care if you're driving a car and you're listening to a podcast, whatever it is. If you're exercising, you're listening to a podcast. It just depends on what you're doing, but keep in mind, our goal is really help you become a podcast. One of the tools we do, that Greg and I, we meet with you and we talk about becoming an author and displaying that everywhere, making you big. Now, it's just one area that we do, but it's something you really guys ought to really truly look at, and you really need to truly look at doing a podcast, and that should be done on your marketing platform. And something on your website that connects off to other podcast platforms that can give you some reciprocal backlinking and whatnot. Greg, do you have anything else you want to add?
No. All that stuff is really good. We need to make sure that, and I guess to kind of wrap up here, we've said a lot of stuff, and we've said a lot of different things about what the next steps are. Really, the next step is sit down and meet with us, and we'll help you kind of put all this stuff into one picture, so you know what the next one or two steps are to get you going. I mean, that's really what somebody told me that a long time ago. Being a business owner, there's an infinite amount of things that you got going on, an infinite amount of things that you could do next. What you really need to figure out is what's the one or two next steps that are going to get you the most return on your investment of time or money or effort. So that's what we'll help you with. So set up a time with us, and then we'll help you figure out the next couple steps. There's no charge for that. We just want to get you on to the next steps. If we can help you, that's great. If we can't, then that's fine too.
Yeah, good. Okay, well, Greg, it was awesome, and look forward to talking to everybody next week Monday, Rev Talks Monday.
Okay, bye guys.
Take care.